Hello everyone, Soberoni of GNA Reviews here with an extensive in-depth guide to the Saber Wars event. Much like the other guides, I'm going to be covering everything for this event, everything from gacha servants and craft essences to very specific strategies on how to collect all the points and all the event items. And for those of you who do not want to sit through the entire video, because it is longer than average, there are timestamps in the description below so that you can just jump to whatever part you're most interested in. So let's just start off right away with my favorite part of these events, the gacha. Just like in previous events, we're also getting a welfare servant this time around, and this time it is Saber Lily. Many people might already have Saber Lily if you were here when the game launched, but now is your chance to actually max out your Saber Lily's Noble Phantasm. So looking at her stats, she does have a max attack of 7,726 and a max HP of 10,623. She's a 4-star Saber with an AoE Noble Phantasm, and while she may not be the best Saber, it is definitely worth picking up all 5 copies of her just to max her out. And the next servant is going to be the event limited servant, which is Mysterious Heroine X. She's a 5-star assassin with 11,761 attack and 12,696 HP. She has a single target Noble Phantasm and is quite good. I do recommend rolling for her if you need a 5-star or even a strong assassin. I'll be putting up a more in-depth spotlight on her tomorrow, so do look forward to that. Next up, we have rate-ups for 2 other Sabers. The first is Nero Claudius. She's a 4-star Saber with 9,449 attack and a max HP of 11,753 with an AoE Arts Noble Phantasm. Nero is quite a good Saber and definitely worth rolling for. I have a link to the spotlight on her in the description below, so do check that out if you're more interested in an in-depth look at her. The other 4-star Saber on rate up is Arturiam Ladder. She has a max attack of 10,248 and a max HP of 11,589 with an AoE Buster Noble Phantasm. Again, I do have a spotlight up on her. It's going to be linked in the description below if you're interested, but she is one of the best 4-stars in the game currently, so absolutely worth rolling for. And those are going to be all the servants that are on rate up this event. There are no 3-stars on rate up. So let's transition over to the craft essences that are available with this event as well. There are actually quite a few new craft essences for this event. Let's start off with the craft essences that are only available through the gacha. First off, we have the 3-star craft essence True Shot, which applies sure hit and increases your crit strength by 3%. It also increases the transistor drop rate by 1. And this craft essence is available in the Friend Point Gacha and is absolutely critical for farming this event, so I do recommend going into the Friend Point Gacha and getting as many as possible. As for the craft essence itself, it's not totally bad. The fact that it does give sure hit is pretty nice, but really you're just going to want to use this as a lower cost with 1 strike, just because sure hit can come in handy from time to time, so it's good to keep this in your back pocket. Next up, we have the 4-star craft essence Mikoto Bride Training, which has a chance to restore your HP by 750 per turn, and it increases the all-purpose lens drops by 1. Of course, this is only available in the event gacha, so rolling this will help you with farming lenses. But on top of that, it's actually a very strong craft essence on its own. It's a 65% chance every turn of restoring 750 HP, and if you're lucky enough to limit break it, your HP restoration actually goes up to 1,000. And it's phenomenal on any kind of tank, especially Marie or Ruler, but it's also really good on Martha, George, Mosh, and pretty much anyone you want to use for survival and stalling. So a very nice craft essence there. And finally, the last craft essence you can get in the gacha is the Crimson Land of Shadows. It's a 5-star craft essence that applies damage plus 100 per turn, up to a maximum of 1,000, and it also increases the vacuum tube drops by 1. If you limit break it, the damage can go up to 1,200 instead of 1,000. While you're going to need this craft essence to farm vacuum tubes efficiently, I wouldn't use it outside of that. It will make your regular attacks hit slightly harder, but as a 5-star craft essence, it's a little lackluster. Next up, we have the event craft essences that are given as rewards and drops during the quest. The first of which is the 5-star craft essence Purely Bloom, which will increase your Noble Phantasm strength by 5% per turn, up to a maximum of 40%. And for Saber Wars only, it will increase your attack by 100%, so it doubles your attack. If you limit break it, it'll increase your attack by 200%. Obviously, this craft essence is critical in the event itself, but outside of the event, it's pretty much just a watered down Heaven's Feel. If you don't have Heaven's Feel, then this could be a nice alternative to that. but otherwise it's not really worth using outside of the event. And lastly, the other 5-star event craft essence we can get from drops and rewards is Star of Arturia. It'll apply Guts one time and restore 1 HP, and it'll also increase your debuff resist by 5%. In addition, during Saber Wars, it will increase the attack of your entire party by 50%. So again, within Saber Wars, it's absolutely critical to have this craft essence, as you're going to give your entire party a significant attack bonus. But outside of this event, it's really weak. You just get a one-time Guts and a very minor debuff resist for yourself. It's absolutely not worth using at all outside the event. And also, just like with the Gouda Gouda event, we will be getting 3-star and 4-star Craft Essence experience cards. These are the Mysterious Material Alpha and the Mysterious Material Beta. These craft essences have no effect whatsoever. They're just experience cards to feed to your other craft essence to help them level up. And since we covered which craft essences can help with increasing your drop rates, let's go over the item drops themselves and the shop items. Just like with every other event, there is an event shop where you can trade in event-specific currency for experience and ascension materials. There are 3 types of currency you can trade in. There's transistors, lenses, and vacuum tubes. Transistors being the easiest thing to obtain, and vacuum tubes being the most rare. Going over the transistors first, you can trade in 150 transistors for 1 Purely Bloom craft essence, up to a maximum of 1 time. You can trade in 2 transistors for a 3-star experience, up to 100 times. You can trade in 4 transistors for a 4-star experience, up to 100 times. You can trade in 20 transistors for a Crystallized Spirit Stellar Foe, up to 20 times. You can trade in another 20 for a Crystallized Spirit Solar Foe, up to 20 times. And you can trade in 20 transistors for a Hero's Proof, up to 20 times. And finally, you can trade in 10 transistors for 1 all-purpose lens. Now moving on to the all-purpose lens, you can trade in 150 all-purpose lenses for 1 Purely Bloom craft essence. You can trade 20 lenses for a Dragon Tooth, up to 20 times. You can trade 20 lenses for a Saber, Archer, Lancer, or Assassin piece, up to 20 times each. And finally, you can trade 10 lenses in for 1 vacuum tube. And with vacuum tubes, you can trade in 150 for a Purely Bloom craft essence, up to 2 times. You can trade in 30 for a single Phoenix Plume, up to 20 times. You can trade in 40 vacuum tubes for a Reverse Dragon Scale, up to 10 times. And you can trade in 20 vacuum tubes for Saber, Archer, Lancer, and Assassin monuments, up to 20 times each. And finally, 1 vacuum tube will trade in for 10,000 QP. And if you're curious how much you'll have to farm in total, you will need to farm 1,950 transistors, 2,950 lenses, and 2,900 vacuum tubes in order to buy out the entire shop. And on top of the shop, we do have another method for obtaining Ascension materials and other items, which we're going to cover now, the Arturiam Ladder. So this event also has a point ladder and is exactly the same as the Gouda Gouda point ladder, except instead of collecting Hanoji points, you're collecting Arturium. We'll go into the specifics on exactly how to collect Arturium later, but just know it does drop from enemies during the event, and every time you reach a certain amount, you'll be given a reward. You'll be given rewards all throughout the ladder until you reach a maximum of 2 million Arturium, in which case you will have completed the entire ladder and gotten every single thing there is to offer. And in case you're wondering what there is to offer, if you were to complete the entire ladder, you'll receive 49.5 million QP, 1,040 mana prisms, 8 bronze apples, 11 silver apples, 11 gold apples, 10 quartz, 21 void dust, 9 chaos talons, 10 hearts of a foreign god, 1 crystallized lore, 23 of the 3-star experience craft essence, 17 of the 4-star experience craft essence, 1 purely bloom craft essence, 6 Star of Arturia craft essences, and 5 copies of Saber Lily. The one thing I do want to point out is, unlike all the other events, you will not need to farm for craft essence drops. As you can see, between the point ladder and the shop, you will have enough craft essences to limit break both Purely Bloom and Star of Arturia. So that's a relief to anyone who's worried about the abysmal craft essence drop rates. And with that, let's actually move on to the story itself. There are 6 main story quests during this event, and they're all very easy. There's no particular challenge here. All the story quests will cost 5 AP, and as you can see now, in the first one you'll be fighting Mysterious Heroine X with 40,000 HP. Very easy to beat. The second quest will have you facing a level 28 Blackbeard with 28,000 HP, again, fairly simple. And the third quest will have you facing Tamamo, Nero, and Emiya, but all with 30,000 or lower HP. The fourth quest will have you facing Tesla, Kentoki, and Babbage, again, all with less than 30,000 HP. The fifth quest is just a one-on-one fight with Mysterious Heroine X with 100,000 HP. And finally, the last fight is just a bunch of Mysterious Heroines, with the strongest one being at 120,000 HP. This is a very, very easy event in terms of the main quest, especially when you factor in that all the sabers have attack bonuses, and that the craft essences can double your attack. You should have absolutely no problem clearing it, though if you're looking for servant recommendations, I highly recommend bringing Caster Liz if you have her. If not, bring Babbage or any other offensive caster, even Mephistopheles, as there are going to be a lot of assassins you're fighting, so just having a strong caster really helps. You can also bring any saber, they're all going to be boosted and strong enough to take on anything here. And of course, Mysterious Heroine X herself is pretty strong here since she does have a bonus against herself. So that should cover you there. Let's move on to talking about the free quest and how to farm them. When it comes to farming, I do recommend finishing the story quest first just to open up all the free missions. And when farming the free missions, there's actually two different ways to go about it. One for less experienced players and one for players with stronger servants. In either case, what you're going to want to prioritize is getting enough transistors, lenses, and vacuum tubes to buy out the craft essences in the shop first. So if you're a newer player or don't have fully leveled servants, what you're going to want to do is go to the 20 AP free quest, the one with recommended level 20, and you're going to want to farm this quest until you have 150 transistors. You'll then trade in those transistors for a Purely Bloom craft essence and move on to the 25 AP quest with the recommended level 30, and you will farm this until you have 150 lenses, which you can trade in for another Purely Bloom craft essence. And then finally, you'll want to move on to either the 30 AP recommended level 40 quest or the recommended level 50 40 AP quest, whichever one you have an easier time of doing, and farm for vacuum tubes. Farm these until you have 300 vacuum tubes and you can purchase the 2 Purely Bloom craft essences. And then once you have all the craft essences, you can just go back to farming for transistors, lenses, and vacuum tubes from the previous quests until you buy out everything in the shop. And the second method of farming this event is if you have stronger servants. So if you have stronger servants, you can skip over farming the easier free quest and move on to the recommended level 70 40 AP free quest. You'll get a lot more transistors here, so same strategy. You're going to want to farm this until you have enough transistors to buy the Purely Bloom craft essence. Then you're going to move on to the recommended level 80 40 AP quest and farm here until you have enough lenses for another craft essence. Then move on to the 40 AP recommended level 85 quest and farm there until you have enough vacuum tubes. I do want to mention, if you are doing this second method, the harder method, it's significantly more difficult. You'll notice Ruler has 200,000 HP, Tesla has 400,000 HP, and Skahak has almost 1,000,000 HP. So if you're doing the second method, make sure you come prepared with a really strong servant. I recommend Okita for fighting Skahak or Ku for fighting Tesla, and just a really strong berserker like Vlad or Kentoki or Herc for fighting Ruler. And of course, you're going to want to equip them with your Purely Bloom craft essence whenever possible, just to up their attack. And then the same logic follows. You can go back to farming whichever quest you're most comfortable with until you have enough transistors, lenses, and vacuum tubes to buy out the entire shop. I do want to point out that once you get your 5th Purely Bloom craft essence, you're going to want to immediately just fuse them all together and get a max limit broken Purely Bloom craft essence, because it will triple your attack. And that's very, very important for farming these quests. So do limit break that as soon as you can. And of course, you're going to want to put the Star of Arturia craft essence on as many back row servants as you can, just to further increase your party's total attack power. Now, when it comes to farming, I do want to mention as well that you can farm for a lot of Ascension materials in these free quests. Most of these quests do drop ancient gears, some will drop dragon fangs and octuplet crystals, as well as horseshoes, but most importantly, you're going to want to look at the recommended level 80, 85, and 90 quest. So the Nikola Tesla quest does have a chance for dropping Chaos Claws, while the Skahak quest has a good chance to drop hearts. So once you finish clearing out the shop, I will say farm whichever one of these quests has the Ascension item that you most need, and just while you're farming for that Ascension item, you'll get plenty of Arturium. And towards the end of the event, another free quest will unlock that is specifically for farming Arturium, but also has a chance to drop the reverse dragon scales. So depending on whether you need hearts, Chaos Claws, or reverse dragon scales will determine which one of these quests that you farm for Arturium. And moving straight into that, let's talk about farming those Arturium points. When it comes to farming Arturium, the main thing you're going to want to know is that certain servants have attack bonuses and Arturium drop bonuses. So every Saber during this event will have an attack bonus and an Arturium drop bonus. This is the table. You'll notice that Mysterious Heroine X will have 100% attack bonus for the entire event, as well as an increased Arturium drop of 50%, and so does Saber Lily. Saber Alter and Nero have an 80% attack boost and a 30% Arturium drop boost, while all the other remaining gold Sabers have a 60% attack boost and a 20% Arturium boost, and the 3-star Sabers have a 40% attack boost and a 10% Arturium boost. And these Arturium boosts do count even if your servant is in the back row, so you're going to want to have as many Sabers as you can when you're farming for Arturium. When it comes to where you want to farm for Arturium, it's completely your choice. If you're strong enough to handle all of the free quests, like the Tesla, Joan, Skahak, and Mysterious Heroine X free quest missions, then I recommend farming whichever mission gives you the Ascension item you most need. If you need hearts, then farm the Skahak quest until you have enough Arturium and a ton of hearts. If you need Chaos Talons, then just do the Nikola Tesla free quest until you have enough. And if you can't do any of those, then just do the toughest one you can beat reliably. For example, if you're unable to beat anything past Joan, then you're going to want to farm the 40 AP recommended level 60 mission with Amadeus Mozart. That's going to be your next best spot for farming Arturium, assuming you can't beat anything past that. In addition, the best spot to farm technically is the recommended level 90 free quest against Mysterious Heroine X. This will drop the most Arturium. As a general rule of thumb, the harder the quest, the more Arturium drops you'll get. It also has a chance to drop reverse dragon scales, so I recommend doing this one if you need dragon scales or if you're just really low on Arturium and it's getting closer to the end of the event. And also, just like with Guda Guda, there are daily missions that will drop bonus Arturium points. Now, unlike Guda Guda, these missions are very, very difficult. In fact, they're actually challenge quests, and there are 5 AP challenge quests and 10 AP challenge quests. The 5 AP challenge quests are just really easy and will give you a gold apple as a reward. You'll just do these to get some apples to farm with. There's nothing really to go over on this, but the harder 10 AP challenge quests will give you a lot of Arturium points as well as Ascension materials. In fact, if you complete all of the challenge quests, you'll actually get 9 more Chaos Talons, 4 in Hearts, and Reverse Dragon Scales, as well as an additional Crystallized Lore and 9 Homunculus Babies. So you can make out with a ton of really rare Ascension materials from this event, again, just like Guda Guda. And these 10 AP quests will pit you against enemies that have hundreds of thousands of HP. In some cases, they have over 1 million HP. But the one I specifically want to talk about is the final challenge quest. Now, obviously, this one will give you the most Arturium points, as well as a Crystallized Lore, and it comes at the end of the event. But you'll be fighting a 3,333,333 HP Arturia Lancer Alter. Naturally, this is an extraordinarily difficult challenge quest, probably the toughest to date in this game. So for those of you who need help with this specific one when it does pop up, I will say your best bet for beating this last challenge quest and getting that extra 100,000 Arturium points is to bring with you a really strong Saber. I recommend Okita, Nero, Saber Alter, Mordred, since she does get a bonus against Arturia Lancer, and even Mysterious Heroine X. And you're also going to want to bring with you someone who's really good at keeping you alive, So Waver, Tamamo, or Ruler. And I also recommend either wearing the Atlas Mystic Code or the Battle Suit. Atlas is good for the invincibility and Battle Suit for the stun. And that should be enough to keep you alive for this challenge quest. It's going to be an extremely difficult one, but is absolutely worth it for that crystallized lore and that extra 100,000 Arturium points. And that about covers everything I have to say about the event. As a quick recap, all sabers have a bonus attack damage modifier during this event, and they all increase the amount of Arturium drops. When it comes to farming these shop items, you're going to want to focus on buying out all the craft essences first from the shop, and then farming until you finish out all the shop items. If you have a weaker team or not as experienced, then you're going to want to farm the recommended level 60 and lower free quest. And if you do have a stronger team, you're going to want to farm the recommended level 70 and higher free quest. When it comes to farming for Arturium, focus on farming whichever stage drops the Ascension material you need the most. But if you just want to purely farm for Arturium, then the best spot is the 40 AP recommended level 90 free quest. And make sure to do the challenge quest, as they will give you bonus Ascension materials and a lot more Arturium points. I should also note that the challenge quests will stay for the entire event. They don't go away over time until the end of the event. And that's all I have to say about that, so thank you guys very much. I do hope this guide helps. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll help you guys out. If you haven't already, please do follow us on Twitter and join the party over at our Discord, both linked in the description below. And I will see you all during the Saber Wars stream. Soberoni out. Later.